Dear children, we will continue with the conversion of raw data into a statistical series. We finished with individual series and next we will begin with frequency series. How to convert a raw data into a statistical series with related to frequency series. Now just a reminder for you, two types of statistical series, individual and frequency series. And now we are going to discuss with frequency series. We already finished individual series. We are going to see how raw data is organized in a frequency series. Now frequency series, as you all know, it is divided into two, discrete and continuous, and this is just a reminder. Discrete series is also known as frequency array and continuous series is also known as frequency distribution or series with class interval. So definitely in a frequency series you will have frequency. So we are going to concentrate on frequency series, which are of two types, discrete and continuous. So remember, we are discussing frequency series which has two types, one is discrete and the other one is continuous. Now before moving on to frequency series in detail, we need to know some terms and concepts which are related to frequency series. Now the first term related to frequency series. To arrange the data according to frequency series, we should know the following terms. So directly moving on to how to arrange the data in a frequency series in an organized manner, you need to know some terms related to the conversion of raw data in statistical series in a frequency series. Now let us see what are those terms. Frequency. You all know frequency series is a series which has frequency. And I told you what is a frequency, number of times that an item appears in a series, that is known as frequency. So the first term to keep in mind is frequency, number of times that an item occurs in a series. This is a table of marks in English, 10, 10, 15, 10, 10, 15. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a raw data. And these are 6 students. Let us imagine these are the marks secured by 6 students, 10, 10, 15, 10, 10, 15. Okay, here mark 10 is repeated for how many times? 4 times. Therefore, what is the frequency of 10? Frequency of mark is 10. What is the frequency of 10? 4. So this kind of a series is known as frequency series. It has got frequency. So how can you write this in a frequency series form? 10 is the mark, and what is the frequency of the 10 marks? 4. So here frequency means the number of times that an item has occurred. Now next term that you have to understand is class frequency. All these things you have learned in class 10, but you need to learn it again for class 11 statistics. Class frequency, number of times that an item repeats corresponding to a range of value is called class frequency. What is meant by a range of values, group of values? Let me give an example for you. 10 to 15. It is a range of value, isn't it? So what is the definition here? Class frequency refers to number of times that an item repeats corresponding to a range of value is called class frequency. This is a range of value, 10 to 15. Okay, 10 to 15. That means it is a range of value starting from 10 and ending at 15. Now let us imagine this 10 to 15 as marks of students between 10 and 15. Marks of students between 10 and 15. Okay, and just imagine 4 students in a class has secured marks between 10 and 15. So 10 and 15, 10 to 15 means a range of value. How many students have secured marks between 10 and 15? 4 students. So what is the frequency of that range of value? 4. That is known as class frequency. So here the frequency is 4, and what is the class here? Range of value. That range of value is known as the class, which is a range of value here 10 to 15. Marks between 10 and 15, we will be writing it in the form of 10 to 15. So marks between 10 and 15, 10 to 15 is the class. So what is the frequency of that class? 4. That is known as class frequency. So once again I repeat, class frequency refers to number of times. Here what is the number of times? 4. That an item repeats. Item is mark corresponding. So here item is marks. How many times that item has repeated corresponding to the range of values? So between 10 and 15. So marks 10 to 15. How many students have secured marks between 10 and 15? 4 students have secured marks between 10 and 15. So that range of values 10 and 15, and that range of value is known as class. So what is the class frequency here? 4. Which is the class here? 10 to 15. And what is the class? Marks between 10 and 15. So here I have written, if 4 students are securing marks between 10 and 15, then the frequency of that class is 4. That is known as class frequency, range of values. Next one is tally bar. Every time when an item occurs in a data, a tally bar is marked against it. The tally bar is represented by the symbol. This is a symbol. And each tally signifies the single occurrence of that item. The 5th tally will cross out every previous 4 tallies. This is known as 4 and cross method. You know very well regarding the tally bar. Now, for example, if mark 10 is repeated for 3 times, how will you represent that? Mark 10, 10 marks repeated for 10 repeated for 3 times. Okay, how will you represent that? So for first 10 mark you will be giving 1 tally. For the second one you will be giving another tally. For the third one you will be giving another tally. So how many tallies are there here? 3 tallies are there. If this 10 has repeated, if mark 10 has repeated for 5 times, how will you give that? Now 10 mark, 1 for the first 10 mark, 1 tally bar, next one another one, third one another one, fourth one another one, fifth one you will not give another tally bar. Instead of that you will cross all the 4 previous one. This is known as 4 and cross method. So when you see like this, you can very well assume that this is equivalent to 5 times that an item has occurred. So here if you see like this, it means mark 10 has repeated for how many times? 5 times. Now here is an example which I have given you, 4 and cross method of converting the raw data. Now a raw data is being converted into the form of a tally bar. Raw data means it is given in a crude form. Now we have made it in the form of a tally bar. Okay. Now raw data, you know how it will be given in the form of a raw data. 10, 15, 20, 25, like that it will be given. Now we have converted that raw data into which series? Into frequency series. Into frequency series. Frequency series means what? The series which has frequency. And how we have arranged the data? Let us see. Now 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Now 10, how many times you have 10? Now if you remember the previous table, 4 times I wrote 10 there, isn't it? You remember, if you remember the previous table, you have to remember 4 times we wrote 10. So that 4 times that 10 has repeated is given by 4 tally bars. So frequency given here is 4. Now 15 has appeared for 4 times, therefore frequency is 4. Number 20 has appeared for 8 times, therefore 5 plus 3 gives you 8. Now 40 marks has occurred for 1 times, so 1 tally bar, therefore it is 1. So when you add, you will get the total. This is how we represent in the form of a tally bar. So each item, when it represents every single time, it will be represented in the form of a single bar. And the fifth one will cross all the 4 previous bars, therefore it is known as 4 and cross method. So keep in mind, it is known as 4 and cross method. Now I told you before moving on to the frequency series consists of discrete and continuous series. So before moving on to the frequency series in detail, we learned about so many concepts. Which are the concepts? Class frequency, frequency and tally bar. So 3 concepts we learned with regard to frequency series. They are tally bar, then class frequency, and about the class frequency, tally bar, and about the frequency. Okay. Now we are going to begin with the frequency series. 2 types of frequency series, discrete and continuous. To learn about discrete and continuous, you have to learn about all the 3 concepts such as frequency, what is a class frequency, and what is a tally bar. Now discrete series. What is a discrete series? I told you what is the other name for discrete series? Frequency array. Now let us see what is discrete series. A discrete series is a series in which data are presented in such a way that exact measurement of items are clearly represented. I repeat it once again. Discrete series is a series in which data are presented in such a way that exact measurements of items are clearly presented. With an example, it will be clear to you definitely. Now, example. 20 students of class 11 has secured the following marks: 11, 12, 14, 11, 16, 11, 17, 16, 17, and so on. Okay. Now, this is a raw data. We have represented this in the form of a discrete series. Now, this is a raw data. Definitely this is a raw data. The given is a raw data. We are going to convert this raw data into which form? Statistical series. In the statistical series, which form we are going to represent? In the form of frequency series, right? So this is a raw data. This raw data we are going to arrange in the form of a statistical series. Statistical series are divided into 2, individual and frequency. Individual is over. We are learning about which series now? Frequency series. In that frequency series, which series we are going to learn? We are learning now discrete. So don't get confused. Raw data we are going to arrange. This is a raw data. We are going to arrange it in the form of a statistical series. There are 2 types of statistical series, individual and frequency series. Individual series already we finished learning. We are learning frequency series now. And in that frequency series, there are 2 types of series, discrete and continuous. We are learning discrete series now. So we are going to arrange this raw data in the form of a discrete series. So what is the definition of discrete series? It is a series in which the data is arranged in such a manner that the items are represented in exact values. Let us see what is that. This is the example. 11, 12, 14. We have arranged it in the form of a discrete series. So this is a discrete series. 11, mark 11. 11 marks. 3 students have secured. Let us check it once again. 1, 2 and 3. No other 11s here. So 3 tally bars we have given and we have written the frequency as 3. 12 secured only by 1 student. Only 1 12 we can find here. Therefore 1. Now 14, 4 students have secured. 16, 2 students have secured. 17, 5 students have secured. See, 4 and cross. 18, only 1 student. 20, 4 students. So altogether you have the frequency as 20. Now see, here exact values are represented. If you ask me a question, how many students have secured 17 marks? I can very well tell you 5 students have secured 17 marks. So, exact measurements are given, exact values are given. That is a feature of which series? Discrete series. Exact values are given. How many students have secured 18 marks? 18 marks are secured by only one student. So, if you ask me a question, how many students have secured 20 marks? I can very well say 4 students have secured 20 marks. So, exact measurement is given. 20 as a mark is secured by 4 students. Then 18 as a mark secured only by one student. Exact measurement or exact value is represented. That kind of a series with the frequency where exact value is represented is known as discrete series. Hope it is clear to you. Now we will move on to continuous series. What is this continuous series? In this series, the items cannot be exactly measured. Items cannot be exactly measured. Instead, it assumes range of values. You know what is a range of value? I have given an example of range of values. 10 to 15, that class, range of values. Data are classified in different classes with a range of values, and that range is called class interval. I have given an example for you. The class, when I explained class frequency, I told you what is a class, range of values. Marks between 10 to 15. This is known as a class interval. Now let us explain this definition and we will come back. Okay. This is an example of a continuous series. I have arranged the data, a raw data. I have not given the example of a raw data here, but I have just converted a raw data in the form of a continuous series here. So this is a continuous series. What is a continuous series? A series in which data will be represented in the form of a class interval. See, you can see here all these are represented in the form of a class interval, and the frequency will be represented by the side of it. That kind of a series is known as a continuous series. Let us see the definition once again. In this series, the items cannot be exactly measured. That we will come to know later. Instead, it assumes range of values, and the data are classified in different classes with a range of values, and that range is called class interval. Now, these are the class intervals: 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, etc. Now, let us read the first one. Marks between 10 to 15 secured by how many students? 4 students. Marks between 15 to 20 secured by how many students? 5 students. And the tally bars are also given here: 4, 5. Marks between 20 to 25. How many students have secured marks between 20 and 25? 8 students. And the tally bars are given here. But there is a problem here. If you ask me how many students have secured marks 21, I cannot answer, because it is not exact values are not given here. Instead of that, range of values are given here. Between 20 to 25, 8 students have secured marks between 20 to 25. But I don't know how many students have secured 21 marks or 22 marks or 20 marks or even 25 marks. I can give you the information that between 35 to 40, 2 students have secured the marks between 35 and 40. But I don't know how many students have secured marks 35, how many students have secured 36 marks, how many students have secured 40 marks. No exact values are represented. Instead, range of values are represented. That is the feature of continuous series. But whereas in a discrete series, exact values are represented. Look at the table here, exact values. 10 marks secured by how many students? 4 students. 25 marks secured by how many students? 4 students. I have got an answer to say, but here in a continuous series, what happens? Marks between 20 to 25 secured by 8 students, but I cannot tell you, or I cannot give you the information how many students have secured 22 marks. That is not here. That means exact values are not represented here. Instead of that, range of values are represented here. Now we will go back to the definition. What is the definition? In this series, items cannot be exactly measured. Instead, it assumes range of values. Items cannot be exactly measured here, isn't it? Instead, it will assume range of values. Data are classified into different classes with a range of values, and the range is called class interval. And this range of values is known as class interval. And the frequency related to this class interval is known as class frequency. Now I hope it is clear to you. So this range of values is known as class interval, and the frequency related to this class is known as class frequency. So I hope the difference between discrete series and continuous series is clear to you. Discrete series, it will be exact values given, but whereas in a continuous series, range of values will be given, so exact values cannot be represented. So I hope all the topics are clear to you. Thank you.